Calling all you star-crossed adventurers, broadcasting across the plains and onto your screens, the most romantic TTRPG show on the interwebs. It's Dungeons and Dating!
First submission is from Jacob, from Pontoac, Mississippi. Get a town we can pronounce. I'm from a small town, Mississippi. Small town in Mississippi, I believe you meant. Did 2 years of junior college and then went to University of Mississippi. Hotty toddy. Big football fan, and the SEC is the best college conference, hands down. Sure. I picked up D&D about 4 or 5 years ago and fell in love with the hobby. Also an anime fan, but still a newbie, mostly shonen. All-time favorite is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, solid choice, that's points. I enjoy lifting and going to the gym, less points. It's become therapeutic. I'm also a wino. Wino? It seems you didn't even know how to say it yourself. I like wine, and I'm currently working towards my sommelier certificate, I think you meant. I'm working as a wine and spirits rep in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's the coolest job I've ever had. Good for you. I've got one dog, a chocolate lab named Buck. Aw, he's my Bucky boy. The sweetest dog in the world. Hopefully I get to be a contestant, but I can see the competition is stiff, and y'all are awesome. As a player, I tend to go for more support, crowd control, schemer type characters. My favorite story, my kobold artificer trapped the vampire lord boss, absolutely not, in an inescapable trap using magical circle, glyph of warding, and silence. Next. Moving on. Next up we have Frank from Chicago, Illinois. Hello all. You're just talking to me, Frank. So happy to be here. Like everyone, I'm quite nerdy, born and raised in Chicago, went to school for film and video production. Over the last couple of years I've had fun creating content, experimenting with food and traveling. Played D&D for over 10 years, but it's been about 7 since my last game. Missed it a lot. Pumped to be playing at least something like it again. Pumped to have you, Frank. Next up, we have Gil. The cold and windswept north of Scotland was where I called home for the first 20 years of my life. Over the last 5 years, I migrated south to the milder climates, eventually settling in London. Migrated to Rain. As an actor, parkour coach, and acrobat, stunt fighter, and a slew of other small jobs. Hardcore parkour. My nerd side has always been on display. My obsession with D&D started around 5 years ago and has taken over a large swath of my life. My closest friends were all found in this bizarre hobby. I'm a straight man, and over the last few years I've been learning and practicing ethical non-monogamy. I don't know what that means. Oh, and I'm a big fan of food, and he attached a picture and he looks so nice. Look at those eyes. I could swim in them. Next up, we have B from San Pedro, California. Hi all, I'm B. I just said that. I grew up in Northern California and lived there in the surrounding areas until 2020. I'm the big sister to one younger brother who is one of my best friends, one of the best people I know. Why aren't they playing? I now live in SoCal in San Pedro/Long Beach area with my 2 incredible roommates who are like big brothers to me. I make art full-time as a job, so I'm lucky to have people in my life who support my passion. I'm a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan, and will talk to anyone and everyone's ears about it if given the opportunity. You won't. I'm also a self-proclaimed alternative style fashionista that I can respect. Forever in love with clowns, cannot respect, and clowncore style. I'm terrified of clowns. I've been playing D&D since I was 10 years old, so for about 11 years. My favorite campaigns will always be the one where I was adventuring with my family. My father is and always will be my favorite DM. Aww, and I have him to thank for how wonderfully nerdy I turned out, anime-loving, Star Wars binging, horror movie late nights, Marvel comic hand-me-downs, etc., etc. My love for fantasy is abundant, and my art is my favorite outlet for my passion, having made art of every D&D character I've ever had thus far, and I'm excited to make some more very soon. I'm excited to get to know the other contestants and share an amazing adventuring journey with you all. Yellow heart and a very nice selfie. Next up, Matthew. Was going to try to write to be the first in here, but they got sidetracked, and you guys beat me to it. Sweaty smile. Too slow. Nashville, Tennessee. I know I put Nashville, but I just read it. Okay. I know I put Nashville, but I'm actually from a small town just north of it. I grew up in a rural area, so I spend much of my time outdoors as indoors. My grandfather had a garden and an orchard, so I spent a lot of time caring for both of them, even growing my own garden back at home. We grow squash, okra, corn, tomatoes. I'm bored. Moving on. My mother was a huge sports player, so of course I took after her in that regard. Baseball, soccer, and tennis were the main sports I played until I got into high school. I also spent several years in the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts of America, woo-woo, eventually achieving the rank of Eagle, good for you, which is the highest one you can achieve. Yes, it is. I spent years playing pianos, drums, guitar, along with singing in choir, which naturally led me to being in band in middle school and high school. And a lot of lists here, buddy. I also joined the art club since I had a knack for drawing, and was even voted the most artistic my senior year. Good for you. I had something snide to say, but I'll keep it to myself. I have a feeling I'll tell you later. While in band, I performed in the percussion section and moved on to lead snare, first chair, and section leader, just like Jacob above. What Jacob above? I thought his name was Jesus. I only got into D&D 4 or 5 years ago, but immediately fell in love with games since I've always been a massive fan of the fantasy genre. Blame Lord of the Rings. I currently work in food delivery, which allows me to pursue things that I love to do, such as theater and voiceover, which is my ultimate goal and dream career. Closed eyes, flat smile face. I'm so excited to be here and play alongside all of you wonderful people, and such a nice, dapper photo and bow tie. So, moving on. And our next submission is from Pete from Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm a big nerd who loves fantasy, sci-fi, video games, and anime. So I basically like things that most people assume nerds like, which is true. I also like writing, drawing, acting, singing, and other art stuff. I'm half Greek and grew up in a traditional Greek household. I daydream a lot and find myself constantly in my head about literally anything. I love humor and comedy and try to spread as much as I can because I like making people happy. Aww. I also like working with kids who have been abused in one or many ways, and I love giving them things to look forward to and make their days better. You are a good person. As for D&D, I've only been playing about 4 to 5 years. I'm both a DM and a player. I'm currently in 3 campaigns. Of those numbers, those are rookie numbers. One I'm DMing, Curse of Strahd, and the other 2 I play a Fallen Aasimar. That's how you pronounce it, everyone. Aasimar. Not Aasimar, not Aasimar. I've forgotten now. Undead warlock struggling between appeasing her patron and helping the party, and an Amethyst Dragonborn Soul Knife rogue. That's a mouthful. That infiltrated a cult and is a foster parent to many orphans. I hope I can be a contestant and survive as long as possible, but I know it'll be tough with all the cool and awesome people I'm up against. Next up we have Austin from Ferndale, Michigan, originally from Dallas, Texas. I just uprooted from Texas with a 4.0 in charisma. Poor pun. I grew up in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee. It's not the same place. Missed some commas. Oldest brother to 2 younger sisters, and the middle child to the step-siblings who are all amazing people. Currently I work as an attorney for an insurance defense firm in Troy, Michigan. I take back every mean thing I said, don't sue me. Before going to law school, I went to Baylor University with a degree in political science and a minor in history. My college years were finished with Dr. Pepper. Solid choice, you get points. And refereeing intramural games. Go Zebras. I started D&D a little over a year ago and meant to stay in touch means to stay in touch with my college friends between law school and COVID. Quickly, I fell in love with the exhilarating experience that D&D provides, started DMing. After about 2 or 3 months of playing, it started with 1 campaign and has grown into 3 different weekly campaigns with multiple different players. Get those numbers up, people. 5 campaigns minimum. I started out with a paladin, switched to a barbarian, and found my calling with a warlock. Mommy issues. A big Hexblade fan, I enjoy characters that can be the face if needed without sacrificing the ability to get up in the mix. I'm a huge Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Marvel fan. More recently, I've begun to watch more anime. Actually, just finished my New Year's resolution of watching all of One Piece in 1 year. That is an achievement. You did nothing else but watch One Piece. Hobbies range from singing to rock climbing to whatever serotonin trail lands on that week. I look forward to getting to know y'all and have loved reading the introduction so far. Next up we have Matthew George. Just call me George. Everyone does. Do they? Do they? Good grief, George. From Manassas, Virginia. About me. It all began when my mother and my father met at a college foosball tournament. Wait, no. It's probably not where we should start. Let's try it again. How witty. I know. Bullet points. That always looks good. It'll force me to focus on some points of interest and drop a blah, 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 blah. Let's go to bullet points, George. Started playing D&D in 2006 with 3.5. Prestige class were at their prime. Rogues sucked, wizards dominated, and fighters had more feats than they could choose from and they could possibly hope to learn. Since then, I've played all sorts of D&D and other TTRPGs, ranging from mutants and masterminds to several World of Darknesses and other D10 systems. I once had a friend teach me how to shoot a rifle, and our target was the D&D 4.0 core rulebook. It was very cleansing for the soul. I have respect for you now. I'm a cosplayer focusing mainly on Agent 47 from the Hitman games. The tattoo on the back of my head is real, and the only ink on my body I hope to get more soon. I'm a chameleon in public settings and extremely extroverted, but I will leave you alone if I sense you need your space. Being obnoxious is not my strong suit. Good. Most of my working career has been spent either as an IT specialist for small businesses, hardware and internet installer, or as a content creator and a performer in musical theater. I saved TikTok when it first bought Musical.ly. Ask me about it sometime. I'm not going to, I'll just Google it. I heckin' love dragons. I collect them actually. That and everything Bowser, though he's basically a dragon. He's more of a turtle. I'm a twin, and my brother, being a forever DM, we vibe. We vibe. I'll stop here and upload a photo soon. That should cover some of the basics, right? Look at you, blah, 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 blah. Alright, moving on, George. Next up, we have Chris, aka Dogood, from Long Island, New York. I am a huge, and that was capitalized, everyone, huge nerd. I love D&D, in parentheses, obviously, and I've been playing it for many years now that I've landed the role of Forever DM. I am a really big Harry Potter fan. Again, in parentheses, I'm a nearly endless factorum on it. Good. Star Wars, Disney, and so much more. I grew up in a very Italian household, parentheses once again, 100%. Thank you very much. And I love to cook, especially any Italian dish. I'm a fairly simple guy and I try to be an open book. I hope I can be a good contestant and play as long as I can. Maybe I can even win if I play my cards right. In parentheses again, and get very lucky. These other contestants are super awesome. Hope this is a good about me. Moving on. Let's try Sabrina again. Hello, Sabrina from Missoula, Montana. I'm not saying the same joke I've said 3 times as that we've had to do 3 takes of this. I get it. You're from Missoula, Montana. You currently work on finishing your thesis for your doctorate in history, which, fingers crossed, you'll have done by April. Smiley face. In your free time, you enjoy working on your cosplay gaming with my friends. I'm currently working on 2 new cosplays for Anime Los Angeles in January, which I may get done. LOL. One is just a new version of my Hella cosplay, and the other is Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. That's awesome. I wish to see it. Please tag me when it's done. Which I've been working on for a few years now. My friends and I play Dead by Daylight nightly, and Drunk by Daylight night every 2 weeks. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm still relatively new to D&D. Started a few years ago with a group of work friends. We played about 5 campaigns, 3 of which were homebrewed. One was Star Wars based, and the other one was Greek mythology. Sounds like a blast. We just finished our last campaign before COVID hit and haven't met back up due to our health and our DM welcoming a new baby. Congratulations. I love character creation and storytelling, and I'm super excited to get into a new campaign with all of you. It's going to be a blast, and I'm excited to meet everyone. Smiley face. Next up, we have Steven. I don't know what to write here. Neither do I, Steven. It's your job. Born and raised in LA, went to school for animation and video game design. Currently working as an actor in LA, trying to break into the games and voice acting industry. I skateboard and LARP. That's probably the extent of the exercise I get. I'm a comedian and unable to stop myself from making dumb jokes basically at every opportunity. I think that's everything. Well, if that's everything, then... Oof. Our next submission is from David from Umeå, Sweden. Soon Los Angeles. Good, easier to pronounce. There's some symbols in there I do not know. About me, I grew up in a small village in northern Sweden called Bullmark. That's much easier. With an adventure on my mind from already a young age, I decided that my dream would be to live in Los Angeles to be able to fulfill all of my dreams. Getting a chronic sickness called ulcerative colitis at the age of 9, making me work even harder to make my dreams a reality. I started playing role-playing games, D&D, and Cthulhu at the age of 10. I've played games now for about 17 years. I went on my first solo traveling adventure at 18 to China to meet up with a person I met online at the age of 12. Having traveled all over Southern Europe during photography and cinematography, I have many stories from all my travels, one being practicing Kung Fu in the rural mountains of China with Shaolin monks. Worked security for all sorts of things for the past 8 years as a bouncer, cashier, the transit guard, undercover security. What is undercover security? Okay. And mall security. Now I'm moving to Los Angeles to fulfill my dreams and get my degree in film production. And he's got a very nice picture of him with all his D&D stuff. Good for him. Good for him. Next up, we have Ryan, aka Panda, from Arizona/Connecticut. I've been described as goofy, fun-loving, adventurous dude. Ugh. My whole life has been built around traveling the world, seeing as much of it and meeting as many amazing people as I possibly can. For the best part of the last 10 years, I've been to 67 countries and made countless memories and more than a few crazy stories. All while working in sports broadcasting as a TD. As a touchdown? My first love was rugby, played for about 14 years. I love being outside, hiking, climbing, you missed a comma, backpacking, or just sitting next to the fire telling stories, sharing laughs, and just enjoying people's company. He's so nice. I'm definitely the happiest when I'm exploring new things and learning something new. I've got a really big nerdy side. Anime takes up most of my TV time, and I love me some slice of life, and favorite animes are Hakuyu and Eurocamp. Probably mispronounced it. Got into D&D a few years back with some of my friends up in Arizona. Now it's a tradition to play whenever we can. Definitely excited to be part of the show and see it come to life. Hopefully make it far, but at least have some laughs and get to know some really awesome people. He's too nice. We're missing something. And next up we have Craig from somewhere in New York. I could lead with my accomplishments. Yikes. I'm a published author. I run my own company. I've worked with hundreds of businesses, and I've led political campaigns, interviewed countless celebrities, produced media projects, and I've been seen by thousands of people. But does that make me me? No. Yikes, buddy. People know me by my drive to create new things, my aspiration to be successful, and not only be successful, but make as many people successful along the way. You're such a good person. Ugh. My anxiousness to learn something new each day, my humility when hard times come, and most importantly, my heart, which is worn fashionably upon my sleeve. You want to know more about me? You're going to find out. I guess we will, Craig. Next up, we've got Cam from Oklahoma City. I'm a college student scheduled to graduate this upcoming May. I'm majoring in photographic arts with a minor in communications. After I graduate, I plan on attending art school to get my master's in fine arts. As far as photography goes, I specialize in fashion photography and conceptual portraits, but I have a great love for cinematic stills, whatever. I currently work at a photography studio and gallery, nothing fancy, just as an assistant. I absolutely love cooking, and I'm a damn good cook to boot. Bet. I've been playing D&D for just about a year. My first ever session, I was the DM, and have been a forever DM until about a month ago when I finally got to play my own character. I've heard the story 15 times already. I've done martial arts my entire life until fairly recently. I was a mixed martial arts coach. Oh my. I have a cat, but I'm more of a dog person typically. And why do you have a cat? And it sounds like you're upset that you have a cat. I have a stupid amount of hobbies that I don't feel like typing. Well, fine, I didn't want to know them anyways. Moving on. I do a little bit of acting stuff too. But most important thing is that I love meeting new people, making new friends, and of course, playing D&D. And he attached a picture of him with balloons. And next up we have MJ from Lancashire, England. I probably didn't say that right, I don't care. I'm from a little town north of England, and I'm the eldest of 4 with 3 younger sisters. I grew up on fantasy like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and always encouraged to read and write. So I like to say I've been writing basically my whole life. Sweating emoji. Not sure about that. I've only been playing D&D for about 3 years now, but I fell in love with it in university and never looked back. Good for you. It was a perfect fit to everything I loved, and learning to DM has helped me expand my writing skills in new ways. DMs don't write, we just fly by the seat of our pants with one note. When I'm not spreading the good name of Smite, in the real world, I'm a returns administrator for a lighting company, and I also part own a local magazine with my family. That's neat. I play ukulele and piano, and I've been slowly teaching myself guitar as well. When I'm not working or playing D&D, I'm usually playing Skyrim, which is the best game of all time, or Dragon Age, relaxing with a few hours of Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. Next up, we have Ria. I'm Ria, and I'm from Los Angeles. My birthday is Halloween. Respect, and I've been told that explains a lot. It does. So take that how you will. Shy emoji. If you're into astrology, my sun is Scorpio, my moon is Aquarius, I went to university for acting and occasionally go back to get my next weapon certification for stage combat. I love a good fight, especially a choreographed one, though I did one time fight off a mugger with a lightsaber. It's a long story which I want to hear. I'm a lesbian and pretty out and loud human rights activist. Hell yeah. But I promise I'm also really cool to get a drink with. I'm a pretty open book, so please feel to ask me any questions. Can't wait to see you in the game. Same, Maria. Same. And our next submission is from Cody from Portland, Oregon. Ugh. I grew up in the mountains of Montana, mostly on video games, Pokemon cards, and Dragonlance books. Found my first copy of Dungeons & Dragons Advance with my friends, and I played, though none of us knew how to DM. I played part-time farmer, rancher, when I spend most of my time with my father. In high school, I found a small group of friends who all loved nerdy things, where we did weekly RPG selections. We practically played any system we could get our hands on. We had a favorite system or game. We would swap DMs just as often as we swapped systems. Through the love of RPGs, we also found the enjoyment of through Belagarth, foam sword fighting. Belagarth, is that what it's called? Or is it just foam snurf or nothing? After the military, I went to school for mechanical and aerospace engineering. I learned to dance, mostly different types of swing, or some others. I'd like to see that. And I started dabbling in digital and After Effects. I brought new people into D&D, becoming a forever DM. A rip. I started to stream more consistently. Currently, I'm in a decent small company working on fiber optic security systems. I get to work on my own projects and learn some new skills. I included a picture. Let's check it out. Oh, he's what you can't see it, but he's in costume. That's nice. All right, next up we have James, aka Burrito, from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Born and raised in the burbs. Really? You just cut off like 2 letters. You couldn't have. All right. Outside Beer City, USA, aka Grand Rapids, Michigan. Have you ever been to Milwaukee, Wisconsin? I'm the middle child of 6 kids, and I'm an uncle to 2 adorable nieces who mean the world to me. Trying to win points with kids, not sure how I feel about it. I recently started working for a garage interior company. Before that, I worked 3 years for Chipotle, slanging burritos. I don't want you slanging nothing. My love for D&D started about 4 to 5 years ago when I watched Critical Role in Dimension 20, and I've been hooked ever since. Try Adventure Zone. I love role-playing and getting really into character. I like to play dwarven characters and always end up as the party dad. I've only played a few campaigns that haven't run long, but I'm excited to roll some D20s again if I get the chance. My other interests and hobbies include working out. They always include working out. Pokemon, gaming, Marvel, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and a lot more. I like to consider myself a jack of all trades of nerdom. There's def more I can fit in here, and I hope y'all get to learn more about me. Moving on. Finally, the 20th about me. But I'm sorry to say, Patrick, you did turn it in late, and I hate when people turn things in late. So you're the first eliminated. Goodbye. Amateur. Right. Ready?
Yes.
I picked up D&D about 4 and... You can cut that. Hold on, let me do that again. Through the military... From... Getting a chronic sickness called ulcerative colitis. We're gonna have to do that again. A sickness called ulcerative... What is that word? Ulcerative... Fuck me sideways and call me Sally. Okay. Make me even work harder to my dream of... To make my dreams... I'm gonna take that whole part again because there are some words missing. Making me... Some of these sentences, yo, are wild. To create events for... Okay, last time. Last time, I promise. That one was rough. Is a temporary... I got nothing. Mr. Comma, backpacking. 3 years for... Wait. Take 2. Ready, take 2. Luna! Go lay down. I'm just, and, oh boy, I remember this one. We're going to read this again. I was going to try to write to be, from fuck me. Take 2. new to D&D. I started a few years ago with a
Smoke for
group.
sirens.
Yes. I'm currently working to finish my thesis for my doctorate.
Big closer again.
That was me, that's not his.
Yeah, I love it.
Good. Silence, stomach. Look at you. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, moving on. Dramatic skills. Stills. Whatever. Study and gathering. From Los Angeles. No. Let's do that again.
Go for it.
I'm a dog. Silence. I'm Leon, and I. Fine, I'll just do the whole thing. Moon is a curse and rhyme. Oh, we've reached the end of the road. My boy. My beautiful British boy. Parkour core.